Okay, in this video we're going to go over sounds in Unreal 4, how to play sounds, but also how to import them in. Now, it's important to know that any sounds that you want to take into Unreal 4 itself, so if you want to import them in, all they have to be is a .wav file type, and as long as they're .wav, they should play okay. If you wanted to edit any sounds, I would suggest using Audacity or something like that there. It's free sound editing software. It's open source as well. And that's typically what I would do to generally edit any sounds. Another thing that you can do if you want any free sound effects or anything like that there is to use the website freesounds.org. Okay, it's free to sign up to. Any sounds on here, I think all of them are free as well. But it's a great way of getting extra sound effects into your game if you need them. So one of the ways that you can place sounds into your level is simply by dragging them into the scene. Okay, and when we do that there, you'll see that we have a sound icon. Okay, and if we go into the details panel, we'll also have like elements to do with that sound. We can also play it from here. If you go to any sound in your content browser, you can also play it from there. And you'll also know that we have sound files in here, but along with that there we've also got sound cues, and sound cues is another thing I'll make a video on. To be honest, I don't use sound that much in Unreal, except for like doing prototype stuff, and there's many more tools that you can use to get like really cool effects and things like that there, but that's something that you can research in your own time. So in the details panel here, we can also like change like the volume. There's a thing called attenuation that we'll go over, and there's also concurrency as well. And concurrency is kind of like how many times this can play in a scene. Attenuation is really important because this here basically dictates how far away you can hear the sound. So the closer you get, the louder the sound should be, and then eventually it should fade away. But essentially, once we put it into our scene and press play, we're going to have that sound playing. Now, the problem is, it doesn't matter where you are in the level, that sound is going to play at full volume. Okay, so not that great, and that's kind of where the attenuation settings come in. So you can make your own attenuation setting file. If we go to sounds and then we go to sound attenuation, or you can override them here and just automatically put the details in here. Now, if you're going to use the same attenuation settings in multiple different sounds, so like fire or explosions, and you kind of want to keep those same attenuation settings kind of all over, if you're even spawning them in or anything like that there, I think it's always best to probably just go to sounds and make your own sound attenuation and then drag and drop it in here. We also have ones already made for us. So we've got explosions, fires, projectile impacts, weapon shots and stuff like that there. So feel free to use those. And again, all this really does is dictate how loud a sound is and how far away you hear that sound. So let's go to the override one for now. Okay, we can kind of go through the settings and play with them pretty quick. You'll notice when I do that, you're getting two kind of spheres in here as well. So these spheres basically dictate the sound. So when we're in this smaller sphere, okay, this here one is called the inner radius. This is where you're going to hear that fire sound full volume. Okay, once you lose that sphere or move out of that sphere and move away to the outer sphere or outer radius, this is where the fall off in sound happens. Okay, so if I press play now, okay, we're going to be full volume, and then it should start dimming, and eventually it'll go away. Now, to me, it feels like, let me go back here. Oh, has it stopped playing? I don't think it's looping. Let's make it loop. That would be a good thing to do. Just going to search here for loop. Oh, maybe it doesn't loop by default. Let me double click into the sound editor here, and let me just search for loop, and I'll just make sure this is a looping sound and save that. So let's go away, just keep looping now. So this seems like it's a pretty big distance to hear that fire. I don't think in a game you'd want to hear it from this distance, like it's around where that cube is. So one of the things I would do in attenuation settings for this is like the fall off radius of having like 36 meters. I would probably make that a lot smaller. I'd probably make it like maybe half that. Okay. So now when we press play, you hear the fire, and here it's already gone. Okay. So that's kind of how you drag and drop a sound in, and that's also how you set like attenuation settings where you want to have a fall off in sound. Typically you probably would want to have a fall off in sound, so it's something that you probably should set. The next thing is, how do we spawn a sound in a level? So what I can do is, let me go to my first person character. I'm going to retrofit my character, okay, for a bit. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. Blueprints, character, first person character. So at the minute I've got, when I hit sprint, jump, begin play, E, so whenever I hit E I'm deplete my own health. What we're going to do is we're going to have an interact, but I'm actually going to go into my interact, and instead of like, you know, doing an interact thing, I'm going to basically check if we have a block and hit. So I'm going to do a branch here now instead. You don't have to do this, I'm just showing you how you would spawn a sound in a level. So I'm going to do a branch here, check if it is a block and hit. If it is, I'm going to say spawn sound at location. Okay, so the sound that I want to spawn is, let's do the fire one again. Okay, let's press play on this. Oh, that's fire a gun. What was it called again? Let me find out. Audio? Wood burning. Okay, that's what it's called. So let's go wood burning. And the location that we're going to spawn it in is our out hit location. So another thing that we can do in here is when we spawn something, we can actually set some attenuation settings for that as well. And we can also dictate what volume it starts at, what pitch it starts at, and things like that there. So if you've got attenuation settings already made, we can put that in. So I've got one for an explosion. I can't remember what the settings are in that, but if you go to prototype weapon attenuation, the inner radius is 12 meters and the fall off is 60 meters. Well, that's quite big. So I could probably change this here to, like, you know, maybe 300, so that's 3 meters. And this one's going to be 10,000, so that's 10 meters. So now whenever I press E, it's going to spawn, or it's going to do a sphere trace. Whatever it hits, it's going to spawn a sound in that location. So it's basically what we're going to have before, but I can kind of dictate where it is going to spawn. So if I press E, we've got a sound there now. If we go away, that will disappear. We've got a sound there too. We can kind of do this all over. Another thing that you can do, let me just delete this, put this back just in case if I need it later on, is we can play sounds in 2D as well. And this doesn't really have like a physical location in the world. You can think of this as like maybe like a UI sound or something like that. Or if it's a sound that's going to be playing like on the player, like a gunshot or something like that there, where really you're not going to need attenuation to kind of dictate like a fall off rate for it or anything like that there, because it's always going to play so close to the player. We can also do like, you know, it's called a play 2D sound. I'm trying to think where's the best place to do this. Well, you could do this in here just by going play sound and just getting play 2D sound, and it just plays one. It has a concurrency setting, so this is like how many times this type of sound could be played. We don't really need to worry about that, and then what sound it's going to play. So you could do this in here. We could also do it in like our UI, for instance. So let me go to blueprints. Was it lecture? Yeah, I've got my main menu here. So like maybe if I when I hover over this, maybe we could play a sound. Okay, so play sound 2D. my sound is going to be, oh my god, let me see, bounce. Okay, yeah, we'll do this bounce one. That seems kind of UI like. So when I compile now and I go into my UI level, or my maps, I think it's the lecture one. Got that many maps now. You can see now when I hover over it, it plays the sound. And because this is like a main menu, I don't need to actually spawn it in the world anywhere. It's something I want to hear full volume all the time. Because I haven't set it up with a quick game. You see, that's not going to work, but yeah, there we go. So that's how you can play a sound 2D as well. Lastly, I'll kind of show you one other thing. So before this here, we were looking at our weapons, and we were looking at how we can play sounds with our weapon or particle effects. So we'll do the next thing in that there is we'll play some audio. So I'm going to go to my prototype weapon. I'm going to find my pistol, open that up, go to animation, and you can see it's playing my muzzle flash here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the notify, I'm going to right click, I'm going to add a new notify, and it's going to be play sound. So if I click on that, I can select what sound. I've actually got pretty good sounds up here for that. Pistol Q, yeah, that's what it's called. Let's go to pistol Q. So pistol Q, there we go. So now every time that this plays and shoots, you get a nice sound. So if we go back to our blueprints and well, we don't actually have to go to our blueprints. So just open up my map now, and let's open up your level. Press play, and if I shoot now, that sound. So that's another way that you can set sounds up. So three main ways really that you can, or four main ways. You can drag a sound in, okay, so if you've got something in your level that's always going to be playing sound, like burning fire, like maybe you've got a campfire, it's a good idea to drag that in and set your like your attenuation settings. If you've got to spawn something, maybe you've got an explosion, okay, and you've got like a grenade launcher that explodes, and you want to spawn a sound in for that. In actual fact, we do have something for that. What am I on about? Let's go to our AI, and let's go to our AI test. I don't know if this is a lecture one. I don't think it is. Lecture AI. So here we're already spawning some camera shake. We're doing an emitter when it explodes, but we can also as the second thing, like play sound at location. The sound is going to be an explosion. We have explosion sounds in here. Let me see. Not that exciting. If you use the Q instead of these individual sounds, the Q will kind of cycle through all these sounds and play one at random. Okay, so I'll just go with this one. And the location that we're going to use is just the actor location. I'll double click this to get a few rewritten notes in. And then our concurrency settings, or sorry, attenuation settings will be explosion at. Let me get a few of these guys in. Oh, there we go. Because he's that. Oh, I ran out of bullets. Oh no. But that is working. So that's the second way. So you can drag it in, or you can play a sound at location if you wanted to. Next one is if you want to just play a 2D sound, so it doesn't really need any spatial information. Not spatial, spatial. So it doesn't need a location, doesn't need attenuation. It kind of just plays like the sound is in your head. And then the last way is we can also play sounds through animations as well. So if you go to the prototype pistol and go to the animation, you can play that. Sometimes I would actually get this before the flash. No, that doesn't seem right. I get it around the flash. And that means then whenever you're playing this animation, you know that it's also going to play a particle effect, and it's also going to play the sound, okay, at the same time, which is good. There's other things that you can do. If you right click and go in the sounds, let me get rid of these errors. You can go into like some effects, like reverb effects. So if you were playing a game like in a big open area, You can add in reverb effects, so like echoes and stuff like that there. And there's loads of different other things that you can do in here, like synthesize sounds together. You can actually come up with your own dialogue as well. And this dialogue wave is something cool, again, if you want to go into that. But basically you can write out text and it will like talk back, so it will. But yeah, as I said, like, you know, this module doesn't really focus on sound. It's good to have it in there, and definitely for game feel you want to have that as like a presentation of your mechanics. But this should get you by in terms of like just adding in sounds where they're needed to, or spawning them in, or using them with animations.